What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the— oh no, not again. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Snake Ray memes into dollars. Yes, that can be a thing on the market, but every single buyout of this card has historically failed. But new Reptile support, it's gonna do it this time. There will be a double, triple down buyout. Somebody's gonna be left holding that bag unless it finally pays off in a meta game. Discard a card, send 4 reptile monsters from the deck to the graveyard. It sounds real nice, doesn't it? If it gets to resolve, if you get to pop off with it. And with that, we also do see the oddities starting to really sell. Ancient Guardians, time to shine after being the laughingstock of the community for years and years. Seriously, I hope you have a great new year heading in. I'm not a New Year's resolution guy, but I will say, for this year, I plan to get to my lowest adult weight ever and finally get through the carcass of my vending career, aka the bulk mines. Even if we have to constantly stream it, I'm holding myself accountable and responsible and getting stuff done this year. So let's go ahead and get into today's Market Watch, starting with a little bit of theory here that there might be something weird going on with this over $1,000 playset of Malice P. Rabbit, because every other listing is cheaper by a significant chunk. It doesn't hit the 300 a card kind of sales rate, but they did point out in the Discord, there's one thing interesting. This was the only seller that happened to have multiple, saving those carbon emissions. There was also theories of money laundering and other things going in on the Discord on what exactly the sale could be, but I do think there's a point that sometimes if you are a seller that has multiples within reason versus this is way too much extra to be paying just to get it in one package and hope that it arrives safe and not have to keep track of multiple sellers. There is something to it. If you can be somebody with a playset, maybe you can price up versus some of these lower listings and end up making a sale. So a little bit of vendor wisdom there to consider. Tenpai Dragon Pydra was my biggest loser of the ban list, but it's rebounding right now as people have discovered, wait, you can still play in top with Tenpai even after these hits. Often Dax hits aren't their demise, and sometimes they even turn around. Now, it is hurt. It's not going to be the same level of competition, but it is still a very playable deck, and you can see after just a couple listings, this is back to an $8 card after these $6.50 listings disappear. Also, biggest loser of the ban list was Diabellstar. I was waiting for people to realize, wait, this is still playable though. There's still all these different decks that can use her, and the quarter century secret rare is skyrocketing. And we also take a look at the platinum secret, and it's starting to rise back up slowly here, and is now towards the, after this one listing's gone at $6.30, $7 and up, and then quickly $8 on the front page. I will say what's largely being ignored, although people are kind of shaky on modern OTS ultis, it's towards $15 after it was floating at $28. I could see this ending going back up, and it is getting traction on sales right now, so people are starting to pay attention. If you want to get yours, use that TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra to support the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying sooner than later on this one, in my opinion. Dominus Purge is spiking, and my Discord says it's only for 2 decks right now for the most part, maybe 3. Voiceless Voice and Blue Eyes are the focus, with a asterisk on Eldritch as well with their new support, but I don't think people are as excited for that support. There's still been movement on the market. I would assume this is mostly movement for Blue Eyes, though. Be aware that Purge is spiking back up in price. $35 for the secret rare, and the quarter century secret rare is really starting to go back up, almost $90 even before it's $100 on the front page. The Black Goat, last speaking of trap cards that people started to sleep on, is spiking super heavily right now and is back to being towards a $20 card in sales, but there's a lot of listings here at 17 and 18 as vendors are listing into the spike. Hieratic Seal of Heavenly Spheres quarter century secret rare, we covered it as it started to spike on up. It has continued to go crazy and is towards $24 at this point. And Blue Eyes White Dragon, the star of the deck. It's quarter century secret rare out of Bonanza, being one of the rarest, most sought after pulls because a lot of the quarter century secret rares are hard to get in general. It is towards the top of the set, and it is back towards 150. And you can see recently is more towards 120, 125. And keep in mind, people are paying sales tax on top of this to get it online. I told you all when Triff took his dub that Triple Tactics Thrust was super interesting to me, and people still slept right after. Now, I pointed out the higher rarity versions, but the lower rarity versions are starting to really go where they're even jumbling up. Look at the super rares on buyout mode with just 17 listings being more than the secret rares right now. So don't just assume lowest rarity, lowest price. With these collections, often the super rare goes above the ultra rare, which is happening right here, and ultra's the cheapest, but then like it's actually more than the secret? What is happening here? That's crazy to me. So look through the cards themselves and decide which version you want for its price point always, instead of just slapping on the lowest rarity thinking it'll be the least amount of dollars. Kristan Citry we covered, but is respiking already. And I do want to say, during our Tournament of Madness on the streams where we let viewers ban cards, it's always Cristrons that start showing up around round 6 or 7 if we don't do any preemptive bans. This deck comes out of the woodwork, it does its things as an engine, and it always felt like it was just missing a couple of pieces. So I get people being very dedicated to this, but it's wild watching this be a $15 to quickly $20 card, and the actual sales backing in that exact same range, multiple at 20s and 15s. Muddy Mud Dragon is for White Forest. Now, my Discord's calling this a bit of copium, or oh wait, you're actually able to go into Dragoon with this, and oh, you can actually bridge decks together with this card. So be aware, Muddy Mud Dragon is very low on listings for both the rare and the common. Those are the only versions, never got a holo upgrade for the synchro monster, and it is up in price, so something to be pulling out of bulk for sure, and making some free money on, or having it set aside in case you are thinking about playing that deck. Speaking of Dragoon, it continues to really surge here and is $35 to $37 for its quarter century secret rare. But even the lower nice versions are going, like this Prismatic secret rare, you can see is consistently up in price and is towards $6, quickly $8. Almost on the front page itself. Polymerization for its quarter century secret rare was coming down surprisingly and is starting to slowly trail back up. A lot of people are saying this is underestimated. I felt that way too. I feel like this is a solidly like $25 to $30 card, but here it sits at 18 and things earn their market price. And I do think with Bonanza in particular, it's just exhausting to people to go page after page after page after page and analyze the set, and it makes the set actually hard to consider, what am I going to be focusing on, what should I get sooner than later. And for vendors also, they start glazing over after a couple pages too when they're lazy, and they're not going to put in that work. So it's interesting with the set, the things that are starting to fall through the cracks that were hyped, but this one is starting to trail up, so be aware of that and maybe get it sooner than later. We also have Sprites here, with Sprite Starter getting attention. We covered several of the buys recently, and this is likely due to Live Twins Sprite being speculated on as the best version, as Live Twins got a lot of new support, but yeah, well, a couple of cards, but they're meaningful cards. People assume that that's the way they're going to be playing, and you can see just how down on quantities a lot of these Sprite cards are, and a lot of them are continuing to spike on up. And then Live Twins Sunny Snitch, say that 5 times fast. This card is a $10 playset for the super and around the 50 to 75 cent playset for the common. So take your pick. Do you like shiny? A lot of the Live Twin players do. Be aware that this is going up for its super rare and spiking pretty actively right now. Just crazy disparity, common, you know, to 1,000% increase for the super rare, but that's the Yu-Gi-Oh world we live in, where hollow it on up really works. That's why we talk about quarter century secret rares so much on here, isn't it? Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the conversations. Happy New Year! I'll see you there on the 1st.